I feel like this video is a little overdue, but I've been holding off filming this video because I am not a professional and I was not professionally taught how to sew. I am mostly self-taught and I've learned through a lot of trial and error. But I figured I would do this video to kind of explain my sewing machine, what settings I use, what kind of thread I use, what kind of needles I use, and the basic techniques that I use to get my projects done. So as a whole, I think this video is going to be the basics that you need to start thrift flipping. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need to go to school for this. You can watch this video along with a few other videos and you will have the basics to be able to alter your own clothes. I think for a lot of people, it's really intimidating, but I promise you, it is not as difficult as it might seem. So hello and welcome. My name is Bianca and this is a place to inspire and to be inspired. I love all things crafting and creating on a budget. I did make a little list of some things that I want to remember to bring up. And if at the end of this video you feel like there are still some unanswered questions, please leave them below in the comments and maybe I'll do a secondary video, or at the very least I will try to explain it the best I can in the comments if the question is not answered in this video. I think the most obvious place to start is going to be your sewing machine. This is the Singer Fashion Mate. I've had this one for years now. Not 4 years, but for many years. I probably had this one for maybe 5 years now, I would say. I don't think I'm gonna go over my serger very much in this video. I think at the end of the video, I might do a quick little explanation on my serger. But for most of this video, I'm gonna be going over my standard sewing machine. And you can use your standard sewing machine to attach your pieces together. You can also use it to hem your pieces. It does take a little bit more time to use your standard sewing machine versus a serger, but it can almost all be done with your standard sewing machine. Almost, not everything. But if you're a beginner or even intermediate, all you need is a standard sewing machine. Every sewing machine is going to be a little bit different when it comes to how to thread it, but if you don't have a user manual, you can Google how to thread a blank sewing machine. Or you can go on YouTube and do the same thing, how to thread a blank sewing machine. And 9 times out of 10, you will be able to find a video on it. But let me see if I have a bobbin that needs to be threaded so I can show you guys how to thread a bobbin. I don't have any empty bobbins right now. Oh wait. So when you have an empty bobbin and you need to fill it with new thread, you're going to take the thread and you're going to put it through this little hole here. And then you're going to take the thread and you're going to wrap it around this little part here, and that's going to give it tension. And then we're going to put this piece, it's going to click in place on top of this little knob. And then we're going to push it against this piece. And now we're going to slowly press on the pedal. And now we can cut off this extra. And now that we have our bobbin threaded, now we can thread it through the machine. We can pop off this little cover, and it's pretty self-explanatory. The cover does show you how to place it. So we want the thread to pull it counterclockwise. And then we're just going to drop this in here. We're going to put it around this little piece, and then it's going to come up and over, and then there's a little blade in here. When we pull this, it'll cut it. So now it's already threaded through here. Now we need to thread the top here. This lever on the side is going to move the needle up and down, and we want this part here to come up out of the machine so we can thread it. So now we're going to remove it from here because we're no longer threading the bobbin, and we're going to put it under this little loop here. It's going to wrap behind this one, and you can just follow the arrows. It does give you instructions, and the more you do it, it gets pretty easy to follow. And from down here, and now it's going to go behind this metal piece. And there's another little metal loop on top of the needle that it has to go behind, like this. And now we can thread it through the needle. And now we're going to put this thread in the middle of the foot and then towards the back of the machine like this. And now this would be ready to start sewing. And some of the materials that you will also need if you want to get started sewing, you will need a tape measure, something like this, something flexible that you can wrap around your body. You will also need a pin cushion and some pins. And an alternative to pins would be these little clips here. I prefer to use these little clips because I have pets, and my biggest fear is that I will lose one of the pins in the carpet and one of the animals will either step on it or swallow it, because I've heard some horror stories and I just can't even imagine one of them swallowing a needle or stepping on it. So I like to use my clips a lot, or if I'm going to be extremely careful, I will use pins every once in a while, but I try not to use pins some nice sharp scissors for cutting fabric, and a paperweight. As you guys probably see in a lot of my videos, I don't have a very big workspace when I'm laying out fabric to cut it, so I will use my bed as a platform. And when you're cutting fabric, you don't want it to shift around too much, so it's best to have a flat, hard surface. So I do have a piece of plywood that I will lay over my bed, and that will be my hard surface. And when I'm using the plywood as my surface, I will use this stone as a paperweight so it doesn't shift around very much. But if I'm not using the plywood, I don't use a paperweight on my bed because it just dips down. Ideally though, using a piece of plywood or a big desk with a paperweight is the best way to go. What's the saying? Do as I say, not as I do. And on the topic of thread, I pretty much use all-purpose thread for all of my projects. I almost never use stretch thread. If I need something to have some stretch to it, I'll use a zigzag stitch. Typically for my projects, if I'm sewing vertically, so like down the side, I'll use a straight stitch, but I will utilize a zigzag stitch if I'm sewing across the top or across the bottom, and I need to be able to stretch it to get it over my head. That's when I will use a zigzag stitch. Now, if your fabric is not stretchy enough, if you sew a straight stitch down the side and then you try to get it on over your body, you might rip it. So in that situation where your fabric is not stretchy, if it's something that you want to be more form-fitted, you're probably gonna have to add a zipper or ties. I personally don't like working with elastic thread. I don't know, I just don't feel like it turns out right when I use it, so I prefer to just use stretchy fabrics or a zigzag stitch. A lot of these threads are all-purpose 100% polyester. I think these are all-purpose 100% cotton, but I think for a beginner or someone just now getting into thrift flipping, all-purpose thread will be your best friend. And next I want to talk about needles. So I have some here. The needle that I have in here right now does need to be changed out, so I might as well do that right now. I will typically use a universal needle for everything. Sometimes I will switch it out for a denim needle or like a jeans needle if the denim is really thick and I don't want to break the needle. I think I have a couple broken needles in here that I can show you guys. So for this one, I managed to break off the tip, and then for this one, it's bent. So if you're sewing too quickly over bulky fabric, you can break or bend your needle, which is why it might be a good idea to switch it out for a thicker needle or a needle meant for denim. But most of the time, I am too lazy to switch it out. So I just keep a universal needle in my machine. And if I'm going over thicker fabric or denim, I try to make sure to go really slow, or I'll do it by hand by just turning this knob here to get over the thicker parts. Is that what a professional would suggest? I have no idea. If you're a professional and you're watching this, you're probably cringing at some of my explanations, but that's okay. So to switch out your needle, every machine is different, but this one just has a little knob and you unscrew it. You pull out the needle and the needle has a flat side to it. And I think for most machines, the flat side is going to be facing the back of your machine. And then you just want to put it right back in that spot and then you tighten the screw. So it's super simple to change out your needle if you need to. So these are the settings that I typically keep my machine at. I almost always use a straight stitch. And then if I needed to have some stretch to it, I'll switch it to a zigzag stitch. But most of the time it just stays right here. And this is where I keep my stitch length at most of the time, right at a 3. I keep this one set between a 2 and a 1. And then this one is between the 4 and the 3. And I do have some scrap fabric here. This one is not stretchy, and this one is stretchy. And I'm going to show you guys the most basic stitches that I use for almost all of my projects. And to start sewing, we're going to put this under the foot. The back of my machine has a lever here, and that's going to drop the foot. And before we can sew, we want the fabric to be secured in place. So I'm going to put in my fabric, drop the foot down, and my setting here is on a straight stitch. And to get started, I'm just going to lightly push the pedal and just do a couple stitches. Now I can let go of this. And now to keep it from unraveling, we're going to use this to push down and back stitch. And we're just going to reverse a couple stitches and then let it go. And now we can continue going straight. If you just do a straight stitch and make a straight line, there's nothing keeping that thread from unraveling. So now that we backstitch to lock it in place, now we can continue forward. And when we're done, I'm gonna push this down to put it in reverse again, backstitch a couple stitches, let it go, and go forward. And now we can flip the foot up to lift it. And as you can see, my needle is still down in the fabric. Now I'm gonna go over here on the side and grab the knob, and I'm going to pull it up slowly towards me until it lifts out of the fabric. And now we can gently pull and then cut the extra. And here's how that should look from the front and the back. And now you can cut off these little tails. And for a zigzag stitch, what I like to do, I will keep it set for a straight stitch, and I'll just lock it into place by going straight a couple and backing up. And then once I do that, just to secure it, now I'll switch this to zigzag, and now I can go forward with the zigzag stitch. And when I'm done and I want to secure it, I'll go back to a straight stitch, and then I'll go forward and back just to secure that into place. And now that should look something like this. And if we change this setting up here and we just move this a little bit this way, I'll show you how that changes. So now this is a heavier zigzag pattern, which would allow for more stretch. This fabric's not stretchy, so it doesn't make a big difference. But for stretchier fabric, you would want your zigzag stitch to look more like this here. I'm going to use this stretchy scrap fabric to show you guys how I do a lettuce trim with my standard sewing machine without using a serger. Step one is making sure you have very stretchy fabric, and for your stitch length you want it to be very close together, so I'm going to turn it all the way down as low as it goes, and we're going to make sure to use a zigzag stitch. Now for the lettuce trim, we want our needle to be into our fabric when we start, and I'm going to hold this thread in place, and I'm going to just put my finger over it, and I'm going to stretch this fabric. And then we're gonna start our stitch. My needle is down in the fabric. I'm gonna grab both ends and I'm going to pull it tight, and I'm gonna do my zigzag stitch right along this outer edge here. The slower you go, the closer these stitches will be. And now when we're done, and most machines do have a little razor blade attached where you can cut your fabric like this. Most of the time I end up just using my shears anyway. And this is how the lettuce trim will turn out on your standard sewing machine. And this is an example of how it turns out on a serger. It's more filled in, the thread is tighter, there are no gaps in between this thread. But I think this just shows that you can get a very similar result with a standard sewing machine and you don't have to invest in a serger. And the two techniques that you're going to use the most as a beginner is going to be just doing a straight stitch to take in tops, and then taking in the waist of skirts, shorts, or pants with darts. And a dart is basically just a tapered triangle. As you can see, I took off a little bit more here, and then it tapers down. So this way from the outside, it just blends in with the fabric, but it can help to take off a couple inches from the waist if you have a waist gap. And then back to this top here, you can see on the sleeve where it still had the original serged edge. And then the serged edge was on this side as well, but I had already cut it off. And as you can see, I did my first straight stitch here, and then I decided I wanted to be taken in a little bit more. And then I added in another straight stitch. And then I wanted to taper the arms as well because I wanted this to be more of a bell sleeve. So this was the straight stitch that I did, and then I just had it blend into the serged edge that was already there. That way the sleeve stayed the same width, but I just took it in a little bit up here at the top to give more of that bell sleeve effect. And those are the two techniques that I use the most for my projects, and I think as a beginner, those are the two that you should probably start off with. So in this video, I'm not going to show myself taking in any tops or adding in any darts because most of my alterations videos, that's what I do. So I think in this video, once you have all the basics, you can watch those videos and you can see the techniques that I'm doing and how I'm actually using my sewing machine once you know how to thread it and all of that. Onto our serger. I only use this to finish off any raw edges or to like hem the bottom of a top, which I don't use that setting very often, but I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to use this t-shirt as an example because on this t-shirt I can show you multiple stitches that a serger was used for. This here is the hem at the bottom of the t-shirt. You can see on this side, the raw edge is kind of sealed in this stitch here, and it still has some stretch to it. And then on the inside, this is what a serged edge looks like. First is the top that I just showed you. This just has 2 top stitches and no serged edge. The material that this top is made out of doesn't fray, so I wasn't concerned about fraying with this top, but if I wanted this to be more durable, I would definitely want to do a serged edge like this. And typically on a serger, you're going to be using larger spools of thread. but you definitely don't have to. So if you have a smaller project and you need a unique color, like this green here, I was not going to buy giant spools of green thread when I don't usually have projects that are this color. So you can also use smaller spools of thread on your serger. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I hope that this video is helpful to someone who wants to start thrift flipping, but they are starting from ground zero. I don't really feel like I'm in a position to teach anyone how to sew since I was not professionally trained and I was just self-taught. But I do feel like I at least know enough to explain the basics to someone who is new or just now beginning to start sewing. And I also hope that watching this video made someone realize that it's really not that intimidating to start a hobby sewing. And if I left out any answers that you guys still have questions to, please leave them below in the comments and I will respond to it the best I can. So that's gonna be it for today. I hope you guys found this video useful, and until next week, bye!